What's up, everybody? This is Super Mike 2164. That's coming through. Make sure you guys press the thumbs up button whenever you see this video. Share it, like it. We want to try to have an informative show, good show today. Ramadan Mubarak to all the Muslims. What's going on, everybody? When you guys come through, make sure you guys chime in, put a thumbs up, put a little emoji or something like that in the chat. Let me know what's happening. All the working folks, shout out. So today we want to try to go through a few things. We want to touch on the Baltimore bridge collapse, Diddy. We can touch on some lessons in Diddy. Little Candace Owens and, a couple of scams, legal scams, especially in real estate. All right, y'all. What's up? So we're going to start it off. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? This is Super Mike 2164. Just press the thumbs up. This will be a call-in show if y'all want to check in. If not, just sit in the chat, chill out. We're going to try to, bring a little information out here for everybody. Haven't been on in a little while. I, just been working, taking care of business, but I do want to try to touch base with everybody. I hope, and I'm glad that you guys are sharing. I'm glad you guys are subscribing. Make sure you press on YouTube, there's a little bell icon so that you guys can, every time I come on, you can get a notification, right? So make sure you all do that. We know that we're in a situation that there's a lot of confusion, a lot of different stories and narratives going on. And so it's good to have, some sort of clarity on what's going to actually affect regular people. So I want to try to touch into that. And of course, I do touch on the, I'll touch on, some of the little stuff, Diddy and Candace Owens, a little political stuff, because the political stuff does affect us too, but it's really a confusion, a diversion. That's what people mean by diversion. Diversion is stuff that, that's already written. These people already got their plan on how they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? They're going to set up a little war, and then it's popping off into more than they can handle. And what they do is they end up pushing that on to the average person. So, it's in the form of taxes, in the form of, service, you having to, have a harder time dealing with services and everything. And so you got a group of folks who call themselves elite or believe that they are elite. These people, they have a certain plan. And if their plan is not going the way that they want it to go, they start trying to, make alterations to try to make the trend go the way they want it to go. You see what I'm saying? So what they're doing is bringing in a lot of, migrants from different places. And, we're having to deal with a lot of these people because what they do is they starve. See, this is how this is how it goes. And I forgot who said this, but This was a black economist from Guyana way back like the 70s. He wrote How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. But he's basically saying that what happens is the United States is the center of the economic force of the West. So as to that effect, when they go out there and they destabilize other countries who they feel that may be a threat to them, and they're looking at 60, 50, 60 years in the future, they're like, oh, this country here is developing pretty good. They're going to be a threat to our capitalism system because they're being successful in their, let's say they're doing socialism or communism or something. So what they do is they destabilize that place. They set up their capitalistic companies, and they go in there and they basically arrest the development of other smaller nations because they are more advanced and they are practicing predatory capitalism, right? So when that happens, though, the people in those little areas, those people are destabilized. They have to deal with no services, lackluster government. They have to deal with, and also you find that these countries they train the criminals, and then the governments can't handle the criminals because the criminals are actually more advanced than the governments. So you'll find that in Latin America, especially. So since they spend so much time destabilizing these other countries, the people they want to live stable. So every time they try to stabilize their country, y'all mess it up. So the people are now trained to come and migrate to the most stable area, which is the mainstream, the main center of the citadel of capitalism, which is the United States, Europe, the Western world societies. So now you have these migrant problems. And just the fact, and then they break down the rule of law. So everybody's coming because they want to come. They've been trained to come, leave your country, come to United States, come to a Western society. So now we're dealing with all sorts of extra. They're bringing these a lot of the. At first, they used to test people and make sure that they was worthy of being, of migrating to the United States. Make sure they wasn't criminal minded, all those sorts of things. But now, because of the progress of their nemesis, which is, i.e., black people, what they're doing here is just letting everybody in. So they're literally letting a criminal class of folks, come into the border, right? They want to try to compete because, crime is down in the United States over the past few years. Quiet is kept. Black folks are actually committing less crime. We're still crazy as I don't know what, but we're committing much less crime than especially dangerous crime too. And, they depend on that. So now this is what we're dealing with. They're wanting to bring in people who will commit crimes for them, to justify their existence. So that's what they're doing. They want to make sure they keep you safe. So they have to endanger you just so that you can want them to continue to keep you safe. So now they have this thing called deed theft in Georgia. Very common in Georgia. Why? Here's why. Deed theft, wrongful foreclosures, fraudulent loans are all ingredients for real estate fraud. So what's happening here? So now we get, let's look at the little clip here first. Let me see if they play a commercial. They probably will. Hold on a second.
Owning a business takes vision.
Yeah,
it takes grit,
they will.
And it takes a great team.
Yeah, they'll play a commercial first, but hold on a second, guys. We want to touch on this because, see, what's happening here with this deed theft in Georgia, we see a situation where they had a 77-year-old man get kicked out of his house. Let's look at this here. Let's see. I don't know if this is the one that the man got kicked out of his house, but they had a 77-year-old man get kicked out of his house. And because he wouldn't leave because he had paid his house off, but somebody sent him a letter saying he needs to start paying them rent.
Is no longer there. Our Atlanta News First investigation: stolen home finds houses are being sold without the owners even knowing it happened. Atlanta News First investigator Sierra Cummings is live at 5 outside the DeKalb County Courthouse for us. So Sierra, you're learning there is little oversight for property fraud here in Georgia.
Yeah, stealing a home may not be as hard as you think. That's according to the experts. It usually starts with some kind of forged paperwork, like a fake deed or a fraudulent loan. And in those cases, the home ends up wrongfully foreclosed. And we found it can happen in Georgia often because our foreclosure process in the state has little government oversight.
The whiteboard, the markers, the instructors. This is no classroom, but there's a lot that can be learned here at the DeKalb County foreclosure auction.
$147. Last and final call for $190,000.
That's a 10 front and full once they purchase. They'll have the money on this.
Although on the front steps of the courthouse, the bidding process is not run by government or any state official. It's a private company called auction.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Staff here have no role in investigating whether a home should or should not be on the foreclosure auction. It works like this. If a homeowner repeatedly doesn't pay their mortgage loan, the loan will default, the debt will rise. And if the homeowner and bank don't agree on a repayment plan, the bank informs the foreclosure agency to put the property up for auction. 10 homes were on the list this time, but in the months before, these homeowners say they had their properties on the whiteboard too. Here are their allegations.
I lived in my home for 10 years and it was wrongfully taken from me.
My home was stolen from me, identity theft. I have asked for due process in DeKalb County, Georgia Superior Court.
My house that has been paid for since 1979 was stolen from me.
And my home of nearly 10 years was stolen from me by fraudulent foreclosure practices.
They all tell us their cases are similar to Eric Clark's, who first introduced you to the father last fall. He got a letter on his door that his home had been sold out from under him at a foreclosure auction. He claimed in a police report that someone took out a fraudulent second loan on his home, forging his signature. The father never paid the loan because he says he didn't know about it. What's more, he accuses fraudsters of also filing fake deeds on his property, an issue county clerks say is common because under current Georgia law, to file paperwork in the clerk's office, you don't need proof of identification.
It's harder to cash a $5 check at a bank than it is to record a deed that can steal the title to someone's home that they've worked for decades to build up equity in.
Attorney Rick Allenbeck fights cases of deed theft, wrongful foreclosures, fraudulent loans, the main ingredients in the recipe for real estate fraud.
What makes it easy for them to be able to do the fraudulent loan?
I mean, if I really wanted to, I could get your social security number and all your private information, have people who get that. I mean, I wouldn't do it because
Illegal.
it's illegal.
The 30-year veteran of law argues property fraud leading to wrongful foreclosures is rampant in Georgia because it's a non-judicial state. The courts only get involved after a lawsuit is filed. He believes the court should oversee the entire process from the beginning. For instance, if any bank or debtor wants to foreclose, they must go to court to prove why.
When there's some judicial supervision, it's inherently more fair.
$145,000.
While real estate lobbyists seek efficiency in property sales, attorneys like Allenbeck says slowing down the process with more safeguards and verification steps from the deed filing to loans could stop stolen homes.
People have a lot of stuff getting thrown at them every day. how to get to work, how to get my kids fed or get them lunch. There's so much coming at people these days. But if it happens to you, then it's a life-altering event.
It can take years and hundreds of thousands of dollars to resolve a case like this one. But we have a tip for you. You can sign up your property on something called the Property Fraud Registry. It's statewide. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't stop the fraud from happening, but it gets you ahead of it so you can be largely in front of it before it's too late. We're going to walk you through that entire process coming up here at 6 o'clock. But you can find our entire investigation on AtlantaNewsFirst.com. At the DeKalb County Courthouse, I'm Sarah Cummings, Atlanta News First.
Here, we will see you on the 6th. And you can also text the word stolen home to 470-777 WANF, that number right there on your screen to get those instructions.
So notice, to me, with this situation here, I'm noticing that they don't do anything until after your stuff has been stolen. It's illegal to get your social security number. So how can they honor these deeds when somebody has alleged that a crime was committed by identity theft? Don't you have to prove that? But see, we see time and time again that the police and the officials actually help the thieves. So this is how this is even possible. How can you not hold the companies liable when they allow people's information to be compromised, and they let fake deeds and all these sorts of stuff happen? How can people get a fake loan? How is that possible? Why aren't the companies being sued for allowing this? And then the courts set this up. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this. This society just allows, and if you look at some of these things, which I've seen one of these situations where the couple, they had their house stolen by fake deeds. It was a 77-year-old man. He had paid off his mortgage and everything. And what happened is basically they put him in jail because he wouldn't leave his house. And then when the so-called landlord came in there who stole the house and the news tried to interview them, they basically found out it was a immigrant. It was an Indian, some from East Indian. No, I don't want to see you. Accent and everything. No, get that camera out of my face. No. And the news blotted his face out. Because my thing is this, but this is a thief. So, so these are the type of news that I think everybody in the country should be aware of, because this stuff has to be stopped. But the officials that you hire, they are literally criminals, so they're not going to stop it. So how does this stop? The people have to band together to protect themselves, because that's it. Because this is the type of society that people, this is what they support. So I'm going to read some more from this because I think it's a real important subject here. So basically, the Metro families are coming to notice and said their homes are no longer theirs. People have a lot of stuff getting thrown at them every day. Yeah, this is what that guy said. So you're working, you're out there taking care of business. There's all sorts of mail sometimes coming to your house. You getting sick. There's all kind of stuff happening to people. And then here you go, some slime ball is out here setting up your house. Somebody came to my house the other day talking about the little white guy coming to my house talking about something. Oh yeah, we can get you the security systems running up on my wife. I was like, what in the hell's wrong with this person? So I basically was like, listen, I don't care whatever you got. I don't even want it. I'm just, because we're not ready to talk to you about something like that. I'm not about to sit up here and talk to nobody just coming up asking for information. I was like, give me your card, give me your company name, give me your information. What's your name? Oh, well, I don't have no card. Man, get your scammy ass out of here. Hey, it ain't that easy. Hey, let's not make it that easy for them, right? These some scamorama. So let's protect ourselves in that. Let me check this out. So basically, let me look some more in this here. So let me see. So let's look at some more of this here. So Eric Clark experienced that life-altering event. His story appeared on the Atlanta News First Investigates last fall. He resonated with dozens of families who said they're in similar circumstances. Clark received a notice on his front door that said his Ellenwood home had been sold to a foreclosure auction. Had been sold at a foreclosure auction. In a police report, he claimed someone took out a fraudulent second loan on his home and forged his signature. So he made a police report. Clark never paid the loan because he says he didn't know about it. He is also accusing fraudsters of filing fake deeds on his property. So how do you file a deed in Georgia? I want to see. Let me see. How do you file a deed? How to file a deed in Georgia. The deed must describe the real property, full legal description, name the parties transferring the property, grantor. Damn, is this it? Name the property parties receiving the property. Be signed and notarized by the grantor with a witness. Now, who is these witnesses? This is all you need to file a deed. Wow. How much does it cost to file a deed in Georgia? $10. God damn. This is it. Hey, but my thing is, y'all, my thing is, hey, if somebody stole your house by hook or crook like this, I would be trying to steal my house back. I'd be filing a real deed back on myself, or on, was it back on them? I go to that recording place, find out their real name, who's their name. This is in Cobb County, where I used to stay. That's all you got to do to file a deed. So there you go. So Clark received his notice. According to the county clerks, deed thefts are common. So common, it's normal. Current Georgia law allows property paperwork to be filed in clerks' offices without proof of identification. This is what they allow. They're helping criminals. It's harder to cash a $5 check at a bank than it is to record a deed that can steal the title to someone's home they've worked for decades to build up equity in. See, the whole country is primed up for fraud and thieves. That's what they've done. That's how they got what they got. So basically, anyone can be a bidder at auction.com. This stuff is sitting up on auction.com. Whew. This is crazy. This is the stuff that they got going on here. But anyway, guys, let's move on to another point, because let me see what they say about how to protect yourself. Hold on a second. So they tell you property fraud alert. The threat of mortgage fraud and identity thefts comes to rise and determines. I guess you can sign up for alert. If you require assistance to sign up, please select your state. Okay. So, you know, this is what they got going on. This is what we got. This is a whole nother thing for us to deal with. Also, I wanted to touch on this boat. Now, I was looking at the boat over there in Baltimore. So we see that this crane comes up there in Baltimore. You got Black City that these people have drove their boat basically into the pier and collapsed the entire bridge. This is what this is what's happening in America. You know, infrastructure attacks. Is it an attack or a serious mistake? We don't know. We don't to this day. This happens. We don't see no faces involved. Where are the interviews? Who's responsible? Who's getting sued? What family lawsuits are being pushed out? You know, what changes are being made? We don't see nothing. I don't see nothing. I didn't see anything. They just collapsed it. You know, so these people just emotionally just do whatever they want to do. But the law, you know, just like in Georgia, they just, you know, there's no real law. They just do what they feel like doing. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. And the law is what they want it to be. They can enforce it when they want it to enforce it. You know, for example, you know, like I said, the police, they get all high and mighty when they're ready to put somebody out of their house. But when it comes to, you know, policing, you know, the records and all that stuff to protect hardworking citizens, no, we don't feel like doing that. So let me see what these people are talking about here with this one. Let's go into this boat disaster because I got some suspicions on this one. But here, now what happened here is once the boat collapses this bridge, all of these the harbor, the thing basically that's enclosed, the ships can't get out of there. So all of the ships that was at their docks since last week, they're supposed to have left and went somewhere else. They can't leave because this thing was in the way.
The biggest floating crane on the East Coast, able to lift 1,000 tons for one of the biggest salvage missions ever. Just part of a flotilla now en route, including the crane that lifted the Miracle on the Hudson plane out of the river. In all, 7 floating cranes, 10 tugboats, 9 barges, 8 salvage vessels, and 5 Coast Guard boats. 8,000 local jobs are waiting.
We need to clear the channel and open the vessel traffic to the port.
Okay, now he's just reading something. This is the governor, Governor Westmore. Now, this is the governor of Maryland. Now, my thing is, like I said, I want to know who is suing this company. Who is the spokesperson for this company? This Dolly, you know, boat. And my thing is, you got a bridge in Baltimore. There is no protection for the piers. I mean, these are just basic engineering stuff. Engineers go to school to study this stuff. And we're supposed to trust engineers, but they weren't smart enough. Or either somebody dropped the ball, either engineers was telling the politicians and the officials we need tugboats. Anytime there needs to be a standard, okay? Anytime you have a bridge, XYZ, that this tour of the ship can pass through, these are the protections that we need for the citizens and for the infrastructure. I mean, it's been enough bridge collapses that should have been a standard by now. It better be in I want to see these governors and mayors and whoever start speaking those. They need to be speaking this out in the public. These are the standards now that should be adopted by all building trades. You know, they had a trade, they had people on that bridge fixing that bridge dead. You know, I want to see their families. What do their families got to say? They was working the night shift. Those people were working the night shift for their families, to pay their mortgages, to pay their rent, to take care of their businesses, to make sure their children eat. And we don't know who these people are. They dead because y'all let a bridge, something collapse when anyway, let's keep going.
Because the health of the Maryland economy and the national economy depend on.
On the water, the Army Corps of Engineers is using underwater drones and sonar to map the precise location of the wreckage, then lay out a coordinated salvage plan for divers.
How we can cut it up into the pieces we need to be able to lift.
NTSB investigators still interviewing crew members and gathering evidence on the crushed cargo ship, now trapped under the weight of twisted steel.
And keep in mind, guys, if y'all want to come up, you can come up. Just let me know. Drop the link. I'll drop the link for you.
A piece of highway lying on top. So take a look at the front of the ship, at the bow of the ship, and you see that piece of steel that's lying across it. That's 3,000 to 4,000 tons. That is so heavy, it's pushing the bow into the water, down into the bottom of the river, and then it's lifting the stern up out of the water. Below the waterline, the river depth is roughly 50 feet. To reopen the port, the cranes will lift massive chunks of steel, concrete, and sunken cargo containers, some hazardous. All of it must be gone. The sand on the bottom, completely clean.
You can't leave any concrete, any steel, because it's a threat to the vessel. We're going to get it all off the bottom and reopen this channel so it provides for safe navigation.
Meanwhile, in Honduras, construction worker Menor Martin Suazo's family in a heart-wrenching wait for his body to be recovered from the water in Baltimore. His brother saying, "We are still waiting with faith and hope that they will find his body so we can bring him home."
And with that, Tom Costello joins us live tonight. Tom, still 4 victims unaccounted for, lost underneath that water. And we see there right behind you that massive 1,000-pound crane they're hoping will help in the recovery.
Yeah, it's pre-positioned. It's ready to go. Just part of the many ships and boats and operators that are coming in. President Biden will be here next week, meeting with incident commanders, we expect. And the government has now pledged to Maryland $60 million to help in the rebuilding process. That will be a drop in the bucket of what could be a multi-billion-dollar price tag. Tom?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app.
So now, like I said before, there's been other bridges that collapse, because of boats hitting them. There should have been a lot more protections. Because any engineer who goes to school, and one of the things about Black folks I noticed too, that every time it's something that affects Black people, we're always talking about forgiving and all that crap too soon. We always talking about, prayers and all that kind of stuff. Okay. I don't know, why we're talking about that instead of talking punishment and retribution. That needs to happen because that's the only thing people respect. My thing is, let me see. I want to get the recordings. So we see here's the boat. It's coming. Now, they say that the boat had a power outage. So they said that the boat had a power outage, and it was that's the reason why. Now look at this here. Anytime now they said that they had the police shut down some of the traffic. Here's the power outage. It's going towards the pier. Look at all of those cars, trucks. Everybody's is just driving along like normal because it is normal. But they don't know that whole entire bridge in just a few seconds is literally gone. That thing is just held up like like some aluminum foil. That's how fast it went down. And I'm about to speed this up because I'm impatient. So now there you go. Here's some black smoke. The power is back on, but come on now. They're trying to turn, I guess. Look at these ships, these trucks. This is crazy. So this is insane. Now, if they would have had tugboats, and they were saying that they had these dolphins on the piers, which are basically concrete blocks that will protect it. It's just like when you go into a bank or other facilities that they consider important, like federal facilities. They have those concrete pillars, so trucks can't just run up and run into the to the building and to rob them. But they don't have that for these bridges. Look how much this infrastructure is going to cost. I mean, this is crazy. This is a suspension bridge. So this stuff is suspended. Now look at that black smoke. Man, look at these people. They're just starting to go over there. These two. Now the police had stopped. You don't see no traffic coming this way no more. But these people still coming over here. I guess they thought they got these people went right past. And are they gonna make it? Are they gonna make it? I guess they just made it. Because this part of the bridge stayed, this whole thing here collapses. Oh man, that's crazy. They're making this thing go slow too. I guess they're going at the same speed and rate. Yeah, but my thing is though, like I said, with this, I would like for the news or the investigators to see how it hit it. It crashed right into it. All that water came down. And look how this thing comes down, just collapse. I mean, it just gone. And that's actually looks like a slow-mo. This is kind of slowed down so you can see it a little better because it actually just whoom. Yeah, but this ship had all sorts of when the people started investigating it, it had all sorts of violations, that's all sorts of complaints and documented complaints that was done to it. Yeah. And like I said, we still see no conversation about who's at fault, who keeps allowing this thing to go. We don't hear anything like that. You know how much destruction and money this is destroying, but this is what we got dealing with. Also, there was even in, let me see if I can even do it. There was a fire in Ohio. It was an oil tanker. It burned up this damn highway. Let me see. Was this it? No, that wasn't the one I was looking at. This bridge. Yeah, oil tanker driver killed in tanker truck crash. Identified traffic will be impacted for several days. I mean, people, this bridge was just toasted. They don't show that. Let me see. I see some video. I think I can. No, they don't show the video. I don't see it. I'm not gonna go searching for it. Too much of it. Anyway, yeah, it was a fire. I mean, it's just all sorts of infrastructure just going away and messed up. This is what we're dealing with. So, but what do y'all think? Let me know. I'm gonna now if y'all been paying attention to the Diddy situation, this is what I think on this. Let me go into this here. With Diddy and them, what a lot of people are talking about this, but with him, he sued this company. See, first of all, people like Diddy, like Combs, Sean Combs, R. Kelly, people, these type of guys, these guys have been in this business, doing. So everybody's talking about Diddy right now, doing this, doing what they do to survive, and they're trying to copy off the white guys, and they have to them, and they've been getting rewarded for doing that. And so, since they've been getting rewarded, why shouldn't they continue to do that? But what that does is, because a lot of people don't understand that black folks are trained to ignore and not see the stuff that white people do. We can't see when white people commit crimes, rape people. We don't see that as an issue. The excuse is always made, I'm not worried about white folks. We're worried about our own. Okay, which is stupid, because then if something happens, there, like, this is the same society that you're living in. So what everybody does, it's going to affect everybody anyway. So if you're worried about the behavior, you should be worried about the behavior. But the black officials, whether they're mayors, whether they're stars, what Cat Williams was talking on he was talking about everybody on Club Shay Shay. You can't do the same things. Black people see every detail of evil that another black person does, especially a black male. Because whenever they're ready to take you out, all they got to do is show the same stuff that you did that everybody else was doing. We don't see any situation where, Diddy was messing with kids. Let me see. They say that the feds pulled up at this man's LA home in Bearcats, like they was coming to raid an army. Let me see here.
Rapper Sean Diddy Combs is responding after federal agents raided 2 of his homes. And now we are learning about an employee who's been arrested. ABC's Brandon Allen reports.
This morning, new fallout for Sean Diddy Combs in the wake of Monday's raids. Federal investigators now confirm agents seized electronics from the rapper's homes in California and Florida. Combs' plane flew from California to Antigua in the Caribbean, but Combs was apparently not on board. Sources say the raids are connected to a criminal investigation into sex trafficking allegations against Combs. He's also named in several civil lawsuits, including from music producer Rodney Jones, who accused Combs of sexual assault and engaging in a, quote, widespread and dangerous criminal sex trafficking organization.
Rodney Jones's lawsuit highlighted that Sean Combs, according to him, has video surveillance and recording devices throughout the many homes that he has, and that those recordings may have video of the alleged crimes that Rodney Jones is pointing to.
Combs denies the allegations. His lawyer calls the raids a gross overuse of military-level force, adding, "This is nothing more than a witch hunt. Mr. Combs will continue to fight every single day to clear his name."
Having heavily armed guards and officers searching a home is pretty normal. Some of the allegations against Sean Combs doesn't just involve sexual assault and human trafficking, but also the possession of firearms and drugs.
Meanwhile, one of Combs' employees named in one of the lawsuits was arrested Monday on drug charges. According to the civil lawsuit, Brendan Paul is accused of previously carrying drugs and guns for Combs.
Paul has posted bail, but there's no word yet if he's entered a plea. As for Combs, he has not been charged with any crime. Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
So
now, yesterday I told y'all how I'm sick and tired of these black-owned media.
So these people.
Rapper Sean Diddy Combs.
So you got to realize this here. This man hasn't even been charged with a crime. They raided this man's home, had his children in danger, at the barrel of guns, at their guns, and took its stuff so that they could try to find out a crime because of somebody said something. And they're saying how he's, and he may be involved in something. But my thing is, what about Robert Kraft? What about Kevin Spacey? We know that Robert Kraft definitely was into sex trafficking. So this man, the prosecutors in Florida dropped the misdemeanor prostitution charges against New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft after a state appeals court ruled that footage of Kraft from a police-installed video camera inside the Orchids of Asia spa had been obtained using unconstitutional methods. See, so the Constitution works with him, so they can't obtain information wrongly on rich white people, but they can break and tear into a black man's homes. See, and so my thing is, are you going? And like I said before, Combs, P. Diddy should probably definitely be prosecuted on some other stuff, especially some civil stuff. As far as theft of material, I don't like the way he does his artists. This is not really good for Black America. But at the same time, he's just a part of another pattern. The thing is my thing is you can't just make up the law when y'all want to. They just do what they want to do. And how long how long will we allow ourselves to be just, victims of an imbalanced law system? I mean, that's the issue. It's not about, us caping for Diddy or caping for R. Kelly's crimes. But I mean, if you're going to prosecute people the right way. We shouldn't be helping these people destroy our wealth and the black wealth. Even though you don't like Sean Puffy Combs, he is a black man, he has a black family, and he does control wealth, so he can direct that wealth into places that he wants it to be directed in. This is something that we should have more of, but we would like people to be more moral with their wealth. But we can work on P. Diddy. But Robert Kraft, they're not going to mess with his wealth, and you're not going to be able to, convince him to start spending extra money to try to help black people. I'll say it that way. So my thing is, black folks, we just got to stop pretending to, a lot of times we don't criticize these people for practicing unequal law and enforcement. Is because we're scared, because we know they're not going to do it anyway. And a lot of times black folks just would like to be on the right side of the game. When we say what about isms, people want to ignore that. You're not supposed to ignore that, because this is true. This man got his charges dropped from his sex trafficking cases when he was clearly running a prostitution ring of these Asian little markets. Because a lot of these Asian people, they come over here and they have to work off how they got over here. It's the same thing. It's these drug mules. The same thing with Latin America. They want to get over here so bad, it's become a business. And so Robert Kraft was caught up in the midst of that, but that's nothing. Like I said, it's just, I don't know how long we're going to be able to deal with this, but like I said before, they can just take black people's money whenever they want to. Because they got black people, they got the masses. They make sure make sure that you hate the people first. Once you hate somebody, then you don't care what happens to them legally. But that law, it actually enslaves you. It enslaves your progress as well, because now that pattern and that precedent can be used at all times. And this is what a lot of our people are not seeing when they're just allowing this stuff to happen. Like I said, P. Diddy should be taken out just by black folks by not supporting any of his stuff, just making him persona non grata. But as long as white people still cool with him, y'all gonna still go to his parties, y'all gonna still hang with him, y'all gonna still, patronize anything with his face on it, just like the liquors. Like, I don't know what this damn liquor is called because I don't drink it. I think it's a liquor. Diageo. So he settled. So a couple months ago in January, Diddy Combs and Diageo settled withdrawal lawsuits in a case that accused Diageo of racism. The rapper entrepreneur, Sean Diddy Combs, have withdrawn his lawsuit against Diageo as part of a settlement. So they paid him with the London-based liquor giant. Now, keep in mind, this is a giant. These people have, multiple billions of dollars in assets, probably trillion. So basically, Combs and Diageo have now agreed to resolve all disputes between them, the two parties said in a settlement released Tuesday. You don't hear nothing about Diageo. You see how these companies, they don't get in trouble. Just like this company who had hit the Baltimore Bridge, collapsed the entire bridge. We don't hear anything about it. We don't hear anybody being, persecuted or anything for that. We don't hear anything about that. All we, but when anybody, especially black people, they're going to be held to the highest accountability. So when people talking about holding someone accountable, black people, especially the American black people, are held to account, definitely. So these people have, and also you use the company name and then you use P. Diddy's personal name. So Diageo is now the sole owner of Ciroc. Now, who is Diageo? We don't even know who that is. It's a company. And we know who P. Diddy is. So these are the two brands Combs had promoted in the past and has no business relationship with Combs going forward. So, but they were mad at this this settlement here. So now we see Puffy is having a lot of problems with other lawsuits, and he settled the lawsuit with Cassie for $30 million, and he's having a lot of problems since this liquor lawsuit. And these people will do this stuff to you. Mr. Farrakhan was talking about how he was in the office with someone from Seagram's trying to impress him and put fear into him because of the vast amounts of power that Seagram's liquor, or in drinks held. And the minister said he didn't care nothing about that because this is not who supports him, but these were Jewish people. So Diddy scored a win against De Leon Tequila, but at the same time, like I said, after that lawsuit situation, he's dealing with what he's dealing with. Did Diddy just start World War III against Ciroc? And this person made this 9 months ago.
Hey man, could it be the end of Diddy Ciroc reign over the vodka empire? Well, Diddy goes to war with Ciroc co-owner in a battle over racism. This is worth billions of dollars. Now, Diddy filed a lawsuit against the alcohol company Diego, accusing his longtime business partner of racism. Now, Diddy is taking his affairs to court, going after the company Diego for mishandling his Ciroc vodka and De Leon Tequila brands. Now, Diddy accused Diego of racism in a lawsuit filed just on Wednesday, May the 31st. Now, the Bad Boys record exec claimed that the company neglected his liquors in favor of brands backed by white celebrities such as George Clooney, right? Now, rather than equal treatment, Combs is saying that Diego treated Mr. Combs and his brands worse because, he is black. Now, Diddy's lawyers argue, right, per the Guardian, that Diego had typecast, Ciroc and De Leon, apparently deciding they are black brands that should be targeted only to urban consumers. Now, Diddy said Diego failed to provide enough financial support to his brands. He sought a court order to secure equal treatment from the company. He also intended to file a separate lawsuit in search of billions of dollars in damages, right? Now, and here's a quote, right? Cloaking itself in the language of diversity and equality is good for Diego's businesses, but it's a lie, Diddy's lawyers intended, per the Associated Press. Now, while Diego may conspicuously include images of black partners in advertising materials and press releases, right? It's words only provide the illusion, right? It only provides the illusion of inclusion. This is per Diddy's counsel. Now, Diego denied Diddy's allegations. The company downplayed the lawsuit, calling it a business dispute. It went on to say, Diego Company, right? We are sad that Mr. Combs has chosen to recast this matter as anything other than that. While we respect Mr. Combs as an artist and an entrepreneur, his allegations lack merit, and we are confident that the facts will show that he has been treated fairly. Now, Diddy began working with his company, if you guys remember, back in 2007, becoming the face of Ciroc. He partnered with Diego to buy De Leon back in 2014. And yeah, look, this is crazy, right? Because, Diddy.
Yeah, so the thing is, this man, he went to sue. Now, this also reminds me of this situation with Master P and Snoop Dogg. Now, what we got to understand is business is warfare. So you going to war, you better be ready, because that's what business is. When you're in business, somebody wants what you have. If you attack somebody, they're going to attack you back. So remember when Snoop Dogg and Master P was suing Post Holdings over their diabolical cereal sales sabotage. So when the black people set up a product and promote their product through the distribution channels of somebody else that's not black, those people are not going to promote your product the same way they're going to promote their own people's stuff. So the same thing happened to Snoop Dogg and Master P. He said that the St. Louis based Post Holdings and Walmart, claiming that the company failed to put Snoop cereals on store shelves as promised. Basically, they're not going to put your stuff on there. They wanted to buy their Snoop. Post wanted to buy the company from Snoop and Master P. Master P and Snoop wanted to keep ownership of the company. So Post decided not to put their stuff out there, just like, they're not going to put it out there. You see what I'm saying? They just wanted to use their names. So black folks have to understand we got to do stuff for ourselves. That's just the bottom line. We got to do stuff for ourselves. And that's pretty much all I got to do for today, guys. Make sure you guys press the likes and share button. Let me know what you think about any of this stuff. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on out here. We just need to keep our mind focused and just, make sure that we start focusing in on our own community and try to develop ourselves, because that's our only hope. Don't let your kids join these crazy wars. That's what I wouldn't do. But after that, and also, like I said, just self-develop, internal, get into spiritual systems that's positive. There's a lot of people that want to be anti-religious, anti-this, anti-that. Look, those spiritual systems will hold you over. You can't go through what Black Americans went through, especially in slavery. And then every community has went through at some point in time with the hardships of life, especially during periods of time, without a spiritual system. So these people who are talking about, spirit, religion is this and religion is that, they're gonna crumble up like a piece of balled up paper when hard times hit, for real. They are just mentally, they're going to be breaking down and going nuts. They're going to turn to dope. They're going to turn to all that other stuff. That's what they're going to do, because they have no spiritual power to resist, going the logical way. When you see things crumbling around you, what would you do? Do you just persevere because of your beliefs, or do you just crumble up and pass away? So that's what a lot of these folks are going to do. They're going to crumble up. And so don't be one of those. Like I said, hold on to your spiritual system, learn more about it. Don't believe in nothing. Don't believe in foolishness, especially when and when I say foolishness, I'm saying that something that you've been made aware. For example, let's say the Easter bunny. This Oshtar, a lot of people there are celebrating and worshiping Oshtar, this little goddess, for Easter today, because she turned an owl into a bunny. And, they got all sorts of little symbolic stuff about that. We've been made aware that this is not of God. This is not a valid spiritual practice. This is a paganist system. It's not anything that's going to develop us as we should be developed as human beings. So don't waste your time in this kind of stuff. Bunnies don't lay eggs. They have baby bunnies. Okay. So anyway, y'all, peace out. Love you. That's it.